Typical Mother Nature fashion, she decides to ruin everything. Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop. The greatest day in racing was halted a lot, stopped, everything just kind of unraveled thanks to Mother Nature. We're just going to call it right now. Christopher Bell goes back to victory lane for the second time in 2024 for his 8th career Cup Series win in a rain-shorn Coca-Cola 600 after 249 of the 400 laps. It's also Joe Gibbs Racing's 8th career Coca-Cola 600 victory in the team's history. Here's a look at the results following today's race. So Christopher Bell wins. Second place, Brad Keselowski after starting in 30th place. William Byron in 3rd, Tyler Reddick in 4th. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. Denny Hamlin in 5th. Ty Gibbs on the pole finishes in 6th. Chase Elliott 7th. Ross Chastain in 8th, Alex Bowman 9th, and Josh Berry rounds out the top 10. 11th place is Bubba Wallace. 12th is Mark Truex Jr. Justin Allgaier in 13th place. We're going to talk about the 5 teams day, all day, not only just in Charlotte, but also in Indianapolis. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, who had pit road speeding penalties earlier in the race. Rebound started 15th and finished 15th. Michael McDowell, teammate Todd Gillen, Daniel Hemrick, Eric Jones, and Austin Cindric, the top 20. Then some other notables like Chris Buescher, who was, I believe, who had issues on pit road alongside with Denny Hamlin. It ends up finishing in 23rd position. Daniel Suarez, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, Jimmy Johnson, and teammate John Hernimich like the top 30. Then the final 10 positions are Stenhouse, Burton, Zane Smith, Kaz Grala, Corey LaJoie, who spun earlier. Ty Dillon had issues, mechanical problems, I believe. BJ McLeod spun. Noah Gragson, he spun off a turn 2 and slammed to the inside wall hard. Ryan Blaney, the defending champion and defending race winner, finishes 39th after having a tire issue early in the race. They tried to fix it, end up not doing so, had to go behind the wall and was out of the race. And JG Elliott had a steering issue or component in the car that had a problem. And he finishes in dead last. We'll have the point standings maybe up later in the race if they're not on the screen already. But let's talk about a bit of a controversy regarding whether or not the race should have been called off. Because when Fox, and this is on TV, when Fox was showing footage of the rain or of the race being called, they were showing footage of a downpour, just rain, just a downpour of rain all over the racetrack. Yet, however, people at the racetrack are saying, nah, it was nearly dry or it was starting to dry. Picture of Carson Hocevar showing his car and pit lane, which, I don't know, you tell me, that looks pretty dry. The Ben Crazy posted this, which again, doesn't look completely dry, but there was improvement being made. I don't know. Now NASCAR said that the reason why was because of the high humidity that would have pushed the race to start at 1 a.m. That tells me that this was a Fox thing. This was Fox calling the race, I think more than likely. This is Fox's last Coca-Cola 600 for the foreseeable future. And they just thought, man, listen, this is the last coverage of the year, I believe. If not, I think Fox is on at Sonoma in terms of the broadcast network. But this was their last Coke 600. I wouldn't be surprised if Fox just say, you know what? We're done. We're calling it. We're done. Let's go home. Because we have seen NASCAR have races go to restart at 1 a.m. Hey, let's finish it off. There's only 100 and some odd laps to go. I mean, the fact that they didn't push it to FS1 kind of shocked me because we have seen, NASCAR do that in previous rain delay attempts. So to me, it feels like this is a Fox issue, which is disappointing. But again, it is Fox, so I'm kind of not surprised by that. But yeah, what a lackluster way to end the greatest day in racing. We had one boring Monaco Grand Prix, which was nice to see Charles Leclerc win. It was nice someone other than Verstappen win, and a Montesquieu driver winning at his home track was cool to see, even if for the first time in F1 history, the top 10 starters finished the same way at the end of the race, which tells you everything you need to know about Monaco and F1. And then Indy 500, we was supposed to start 1 o'clock. Rain pushed it to 3:30. That caused Larson to not be able to attempt the double because he was committed to start the Indy 500 and was actually running really strong, was in the top 10 for virtually the entire race until the last, I believe, green flag pit stop where he sped on pit road. That took him out of contention. He ended up finishing, I believe, in the 16th or the 18th position. But up front, the battle with Newgarden and Pato O'Ward. Wow, unbelievable battle. I mean, if this finish right here is another example as to why the Indy 500 is and will always be the greatest spectacle in racing. F1, NASCAR, I don't care. Put up with any race. The Indy 500 will forever be, in my eyes, the greatest race in the world. I mean, the atmosphere, the crowds, the racing was incredible. On top of that, NBC Lee Diffie, how they called that race was spectacular. With 2 laps to go, Pato O'Ward passed Joseph Newgarden, and after last year, I'm a big Pato O'Ward fan, so I'm thinking he's got it. He got it, and the balls on Joseph Newgarden to make this pass in turn 3 on the final lap. Unreal. I thought Newgarden was going to crash. I thought there was no way he was going to make that pass. Somehow he did, and he goes back-to-back for the first time since Elio Castroneves in 2001 to win back-to-back Indy 500 wins. Absolutely just jaw-dropping, just incredible. Incredible. By the way, it was 2001, 2002 for Elio Castroneves, but yeah, because of that, I want to say the last 150 laps of the Indy 500 is when the Coke 600 began. Larson, obviously in Indianapolis, Justin Allgaier had to start the car. They went to the back, and like I said, he ended up finishing in 13th position. And in a funny way, on lap 249, when the race was called for weather, Allgaier just moments ago was saying on the radio on how this car is a fast car, and when Larson sits in it, it's gonna be lights out. Larson arrived at the racetrack just minutes and was about to get in the car just minutes before the race was flown for yellow for rain. So Larson did all that and never got to do a lap in the Cup car, which for all the hype and everything, to have it end like that is just, man, I swear, Mother Nature hates real racing. They could have done that with Monaco, just have it be a downpour or have it rain so that Monaco would be somewhat interesting. But no, Mother Nature had to affect the 2 races where you actually get to see some good racing. And the biggest race, the Indianapolis, have it ruined the double, which was disappointing to see. But Larson will be back next year, so hopefully weather will comply with Larson's first real attempt at the double. Now let's talk about the racing tonight at Charlotte. It was not bad. It wasn't extraordinary. It wasn't amazing. It was just not bad. And again, it's really tough to really say about how do you judge this race with still 150 laps to go. But there were some strong contenders. Tyler Reddick, who had to start at the back due to issues with going through inspection. He had, I think, maybe the fastest car. I mean, he started last, was up to 4th place. And if he could catch up to the likes of Byron and Bell for the race lead, he for sure would have had one of, if not the fastest cars to be, and maybe he could have been the one standing in victory lane had the race gone the full distance. Obviously, it would have been nice to see what would Larson do. What could he have done? Because they were 13th. He could have, obviously, with them coming down the pit road for that red flag, he would have to start the tail in the field. But still, with 150 laps left, who knows how good Larson could have been in the closing laps of that race. Gibbs led a lot of laps, ran strong there. Byron also, like I said, he won stage 1, led 90 some odd laps, was really fast. But Bell was always there in the top 10. I believe had around a 6-point-something average running position. So he was always up towards the front, had a good battle between him, Byron battling for the race lead. And near the closing laps of stage 2, you had a 4 or 5 car battle with Bell, Byron, Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and I believe also Tyler Reddick. We saw some really good racing, and it was disappointing that this rain delay took place, or I should say this rain out took place, because it was setting up to be a very interesting final stage with who are the drivers that could emerge to challenge Bell for the lead. Because although Bell, he was really good, really consistent, I don't think he had the best car. So it would have been nice to see who could challenge Bell for that lead. As for Bell himself, I mean, this was a much needed win. Outside of his win at Phoenix, that 20 car has just not been good. This is his first top 5 finish since Coda a couple of months ago. So that 20 team needed this victory. They really needed this victory to just get back on track. But yeah, to end off, the greatest day in racing, like I said, was very lackluster and disappointing. And I'm very disappointed unless there is a real reasoning as to why NASCAR called the race. Because maybe it's because of noise complaints, because, they're in Concord, they're in, a pretty high populated city. Maybe there's laws regarding noises, complaints, and things like that. I don't know. But in my eyes, if you look on social media and look at the people that are at the racetrack, I saw Justin Champagne also tweeted about on how it was dry. It was nearly dry. Like, you know, like there was basically, simply put, everyone was saying like the track was almost ready. Like we could have got something in. In my eyes, NASCAR, including the high humidity part and the fact we wouldn't race until 1 a.m., even though we have seen NASCAR. And I think even at Charlotte have races that go to 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't know. To me, this looks more like a Fox decision than a NASCAR decision, because the way the weather and the track condition was at the time they called it, in my eyes, tells me they could have gotten at least something in. They could have continued. But I think this was a Fox issue. I think this was them, because they're on network television, they just thought, you know what, listen, we're done. We're going to move on to St. Louis. But yeah, I'm not going to give a rating for this race because, I mean, I can't give a rating for a race that hasn't even been finished. I mean, we still had 150 laps to go. I cannot give a rating. It's like you give a rating for a movie you only see halfway, and I'm like, I can't give you a rating. I have to see how it goes. So disappointing, to say the least. But there were some good bits and pieces to at least be like, oh, that was nice. But yeah, I hate Mother Nature. But what are your thoughts on this race? What are your thoughts on the greatest day in racing? On Monaco? Well, I'm pretty sure I know what y'all are going to say about Monaco. But what are your thoughts on Indy 500? If I had to rank, Indy 500 number 1 by a mile. Number 2 is the Coke 600. And way down below here is Monaco. Anyways, until next time, my name is Jet. Thanks for watching.